everyone, it's Anya here at Our Gabled Home. I'd like to share tips for a simple, beautiful, healthy, and sustainable living. And in this tutorial, I am going to show you how you can crochet your farmhouse pot holders. I love to reuse whatever I have, and I was recently going through that chest where I keep all my yarn, and I found a lot of leftover yarn from other projects, and I thought this would be so perfect for a pair of pot holders. I believe that in previous time, people didn't just go to a yarn store and look at the colors and figure out what kind of yarn they wanted. They probably just used what they had. And this is what I did. I wanted a pair of pot holders that is fairly thick because I'm constantly baking bread in my cast iron Dutch ovens and moving them in and out of the oven. I really need some very sturdy pot holders, and these I made, so this is why I'm showing you two yarns, because I'm actually using two yarns at the same time to get a really thick, sturdy pot holder that doesn't have any holes, and it's a fairly tight crochet for simply that reason. I think they look great with this sort of mottled rustic simplicity, and they're just so beautiful if left out, and they're very practical. And best of all, this is a project that you can finish maybe in an evening depending on your level of practice, or if you're learning to crochet. This uses only two very simple stitches that I'm going to show you in just a moment, and you can probably finish this in 2 or 3 evenings. This is something that you can do on the side and learn to crochet. Now, if you know how to crochet, you can probably just whip through this tutorial. If you're just learning to crochet, this is a perfect project because it's not too big, it's not too long, it's not complicated at all. So follow my tutorial. Please keep on rewinding if you're not quite sure how to do it, and I'm sure you'll just pick it up in no time. So we have our two yarns here. We have our crochet needle, and the first thing is we will make a crochet chain stitch, and it's actually very simple. We make a knot, but instead of pulling this end all the way through, we pull this loop here and put the crochet needle in there and make it tight. And that's our first stitch. Now what I do is I like to put the yarn around my pinky finger and twice around my index finger. I'm going to show you one more time. This is the European way of doing it. Through here of my non-dominant hand, around the index finger, and then I can adjust the tension here. So we don't want a whole lot of tension. This is something that you have to play with a little bit, and we will cast on 27. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, so I actually added one more stitch. So instead of having 27, I have 28. I'm going to count one more time just to make sure that I have the right number. And the next stitch, and that's all we really will be doing, is a single crochet stitch, and that's the next single simplest way to crochet. I'm not going to be using this. This is my 28th here. I will be going into the 27th. So I take my crochet hook, go in here, pull it through. Now I have 2 on there. Go back, take my working yarn, and that's my first stitch. I'm going to do very slowly again. You'll see where I went in here. So I'm going to go into the next one, going slow, grabbing that yarn and pulling through. One more time, into this hole, hook the yarn, pull it through, 2 stitches on my crochet needle, one more time in the back, get the working yarn and pull through. So I'm just going to finish this row and then I will show you what we do at the end of the row. The last one here might be a little tight, and that's okay. We'll go in there, get our working yarn. So here I am at the end of the row. I will do 1 more crochet chain stitch, turn everything around, and now I'm going back and I'm doing the same thing with the single crochet stitch, and as you can see, I'm going into this big hole right here and same stitch as before. Very simple. In here and go. So you'll be doing this every row. Remember, at the end of every row you want to add 1 more crochet chain stitch before you turn around. Once you've gotten this far, where it looks like it's a square, it's a good idea to compare it with your other one once you have done both and see that they are the same size. Now you will notice that this one is a little bit bigger, and that is what I'm going to show you how I make the edge. Now I'm going to just leave my 1 yarn, in my case my white one, as it is, and I'm taking my beige one and I will make the edging. Now this may sound or look a little bit more complicated as it is, so I'm taking this and I'm going all the way around with just a very simple stitch, and on the sides here you're just going to have to eyeball a sort of even distance between stitches. So here I'm going in the first one. Now I'll take this and actually pull it through both, not the stitch that I was doing before, the single crochet stitch. Here I will find this, go in and pull it all the way through. You don't want to be too tight, otherwise it's gonna curl. Next one, go in here and pull it all the way through. So I'm going to do that all the way around. I have gone all the way around and finished my edging, and I'm back to the place where I left off. I have these 2 yarns, and this is the moment where I'm going to make the hook loop. So I'm grabbing both yarns again and find a place to go into, grab them, because first I need to have them both back, and go all the way through here. And I'm going to do a very simple crochet chain stitch, what we did in the beginning. I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go back into the beginning to hook it in there and all the way through. Now you see that I have a hook here, and I'll pull this all the way through a little bit more cut of the yarn, and then we can finish our work. I like to cut it off generously. So I'm pulling this all the way through. Here's my hook loop, and I'll just pull the ends through here a few times to make sure they're not unraveling. And it doesn't really matter where you do this, you just want to make sure that you guide it through a few ones to, again, keep it from unraveling. So I'm just going to cut that here. I have the same going on here at the beginning, and very simple, same concept. Just cut off my ends. Cut these off very close here. And here's your farmhouse potholder with the hook loop all finished, all done. Once you use it, it will actually straighten out a little bit. You could take an iron and put a wet towel over it and steam it down a little bit, or use the steam function of your hot iron and have it a little bit flatter, but with everyday use it will actually stay flat. So here's your two simple rustic farmhouse potholders. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new on my channel, please subscribe. I upload new content every week. If you make these potholders, I would so much love to see them. You can either shoot me a picture or tag me on social media. I'm always really interested in seeing what people do with my tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.